How's it going, you guys? So in this video, I want to talk about my experience a couple months ago with Ashwaganda KSM66, the Jarrow brand. So I've tried all sorts of forms of ashwagandha over the last 6 or 7 years now. Since 2013, I've been trying different types of ashwagandha. There's a lot of different types of ashwagandha. There's a Shodan, there's a KSM66, there's a regular standardized extract, there's one other extract that I can't for some reason think of off the top of my head, Sensorol, the Sensorol. So there's many different types of ashwagandha. There's also the whole herb ashwagandha that I've reviewed many times, and I've made reviews of multiple types of ashwagandha, so maybe I'll make a playlist with all of them to make it easier for y'all to find. Anyway, KSM66, what was my experience? So I was taking this KSM66 ashwagandha for about 2 months straight earlier this year, give or take, maybe more like 4 to 6 weeks, something like that. But I was taking it consistently, and I must say the experience I had with this particular brand and extract of ashwagandha was a lot better of an experience than other extracts. So what did I experience? I experienced an overall sense of detachment from the outcome, extreme decreased anxiety. Like my levels of stress and anxiety were very, very low and decreased. It numbed my stress response, basically. And obviously, ashwagandha of all kinds will typically do that, right? I think it might have increased my strength as well. I started to notice my lifts were going up a lot faster while taking it, and it definitely made sleep just consistent and predictable every freaking night. Every single night that I would take ashwagandha, this KSM66 extract, I would have predictably deep sleep. I noticed falling asleep was a lot easier, and it would happen faster, and it would happen at a more consistent time every single night. Every single night I would fall asleep at the target time of around 11 p.m. typically. Whereas normally my sleep would be inconsistent. Basically, either I'd fall asleep at 10:30 or 11 or sometimes 12 and sometimes even 1 a.m., But I noticed it was a lot more consistent and deeper sleep with Ashwagandha KSM66, and I noticed I didn't wake up in the middle of the night at all, never. Whereas most of the time I'm a pretty light sleeper. If I hear a little bit of thumping from my neighbors or even a pin drop, right? I remember whenever I used to share a room with someone, like my ex-girlfriend who used to live with me, and she was snoring, I just couldn't sleep. But I noticed ashwagandha seems to help me sleep through a lot of the normal disturbances that would generally wake me up. So that is probably the biggest benefit and noticeable difference I noticed with ashwagandha is deeper sleep and a blunted stress response. Now, some of the surprising benefits of this particular KSM66 extract that I don't see in other ashwagandhas. So this is very important. You're going to see a lot of videos from people where they just talk about how amazing ashwagandha is and life's all dandy, right? But no one ever talks about the dark sides of ashwagandha. And believe me, there are some very dark sides to ashwagandha depending on the extract. Watch my other videos if you don't know what I'm talking about, but basically many different forms of ashwagandha have a tendency to numb the stress response so much that people actually get andohenia. And andohenia is a lack of pleasure and a lack of an inability to experience motivation and pleasure and drive. Everything is just completely bland, right? And surprisingly, this KSM66 did not cause any of that. I think towards the end of my ashwagandha experiment, I started to notice it was harder for me to feel pumped up for my workouts and stuff like that. But it wasn't nearly to the extent of the other ashwagandhas that I would generally try. Most ashwagandha would just like completely kill my sex drive, my motivation, and everything. This one didn't really seem to do it as much, but I did notice over time it started to seem to kind of maybe blunt it a little bit. But the negative side effects that people experience on ashwagandha, I noticed, were a lot less on this, okay? Now, mind you, a lot of people might be more sensitive to this than I am, but I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, when I take the whole herb ashwagandha, or if I take other extracts of ashwagandha that are more potent, I almost always experience androgynia within the first week, right? And depression too. I would get extreme depression from a lot of ashwagandha. But this one, I didn't really notice that so much. Now, from what I've seen, you can't actually get this particular brand of ashwagandha anymore. So Jarrow formulas, they seem to be changing the type of ashwagandha that they use pretty regularly. So they're not using KSM66 anymore, from what I understand. So if you do go and try to buy ashwagandha, you need to be careful about what brand you buy. Especially if you think you're going to buy this one. I don't think this is even made anymore. I don't think they make this one anymore. And obviously, I'm obviously not paid by any companies to make these reviews. Because if I was, I wouldn't be telling you all this. But yeah, I don't think they make this one anymore. So if you try to buy the Jarrow ashwagandha, it's not going to be KSM66. But I don't know. They might change it back by the time you guys watch this video. So my experience on this particular KSM66 has been surprisingly positive, considering all the ashwagandhas I've tried that either they're really good for a little bit and they start to cause depression, or they just cause depression in general and androgynia. This one was more just like all the calming effects and benefits associated with ashwagandha, with a tiny bit of, you know, androgynia and maybe depression towards the end that built up over time. But I would say if you're going to use ashwagandha, you should probably go with the KSM66 or maybe the Himalaya extract. I've always had good success with that one, but I think that one was much more calming. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Have any of y'all had a positive experience with KSM66, and have y'all had a bad experience? Let me know in the comments, and I'll talk to y'all next time.